Hi, wrestling fans. Welcome back once again to Off the Top Rope Radio, right here on good old KQCK, heard exclusively live on KQCKlive.com. We welcome you once again to an awesome hour here of professional wrestling talk. We're glad you can make us a part of your day on this Wednesday, November the 14th, 2012, only 1 week and a day away from Thanksgiving already. I don't know what the hell's going on.
It's going quick, isn't it?
It is going very fast. My name is Brian Schenk. I'm the host of the program, like always. And across from me, sitting across the board here, pushing all the buttons, making things happen, making everything pretty in the studio, is the one and only Mr. Joe Carrero. What's up, big man?
Just like you said, making it happen.
You still got your wrist taped up there like Cowboy Bob Orton from 1985.
Sucks, dude.
Yeah, it's okay. Iron Mike Sharp once wore those for about 9 years, and he was one of Canadians' greatest athletes. Matter of fact, if you asked him, Iron Mike Sharp would probably say he was Canada's greatest athlete.
It's funny because that's how I got this.
Really? Wrestling Iron Mike Sharp?
Correct.
You know, I heard about that. You know, he's a very clean guy. We've had people on the show who have talked about him taking baths inside the sinks and stuff like that, the hotels.
Right. You're right.
And
that's where it happened, at a hotel.
That's what I heard. I heard he actually
by the pool
washed up before he wrestled you.
Yes, he did.
That's
and I
incredible.
thought that was kind of weird, but then again,
well,
being a farmer and stuff that he is.
Well, that's true. And he wants to make sure, even when he's wrestling with the pigs or with you, he wants to make sure that he is clean. No, I said the pigs or you. I didn't say you.
Oh, no, I heard you.
I've been saying the wrong things all week this week. I could tell you stories till you're blue in the face. But anyway, like I said, welcome to the program, everybody. Off the Top Rope Radio. We're live Wednesday, November 14th, the year 2012. We're very excited to be back in the studios once again. The last couple of weeks, we have had a couple issues here and there, but everything is up and running. We're glad to be back. We're here to stay. Now, just a little programming note. Tomorrow, I should say, next week, the 21st, we will have a show, but then the following week after that, the 28th, we will not be having a show due to some other situations going on in our personal lives and whatnot. Joe and I both included in that one. So just remember, next week, the 21st, we will have a program, but the 28th of November, that's 2 weeks from today, we will not have a program for Off the Top Rope Radio. So the next 2 weeks, including today, we'll have a hell of a time. And we've got some great people with us today. Zema Ion from TNA Wrestling will be calling us in here in just a moment or two. We're going to talk to him. He's a former X-Division heavyweight champion, just lost it Bound for Glory about a month ago to Rob Van Dam here in Phoenix, Arizona. And also, that should be a pretty cool landmark for him to talk about. He probably won't be happy to talk about it, but we're going to go and throw it at him anyway. And we're also going to be speaking to the one and only, the legend himself, one of my very good friends, Mr. Kevin Von Erich. That's right. We finally got him on the show. I know about 2 weeks ago we were supposed to have him on. We had some glitches. We had some situations. Last week we had some problems with the server, but this week it's legit. I guarantee you, third time is a charm. Kevin Von Erich with us today at 3 o'clock Mountain Time, which is 5 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Central. And if you're listening over in California, IA somewhere, it'd be about 1 o'clock your time. So we're just awaiting a call from Mr. Zema Ion here in about a minute or so. But before we do, I want to talk a little bit about WWE Raw that just happened here 2 nights ago. A lot of people were writing stuff on our message boards and also on the websites alone. Jerry the King Lawler, about 60 days ago, September 10th to be exact, he had a legitimate heart attack on a live program on WWE Raw.
Wow.
Yeah, and I remember that very clearly, and at the time we didn't know what was going on, if it was part of the angle, because just after, he had the match with Punk and the tag match and everything, we weren't sure if it was real or what the hell was going on, but he did, in fact, have a heart attack, and he was pronounced dead for 18 minutes.
What?
Resuscitated back to life and had returned on Raw last Monday night.
That's because those wrestlers are in such good shape.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jerry the King Lawler,
seriously,
62 years of age, this man. He wrestled about 15 minutes prior to having the heart attack on the air. They showed graphic footage of him actually being resuscitated in the back, chest pumps and resuscitation and CPR and doing the old shocker things. I'm not really too legit on the medical terms, but I kind of think you get an idea of what I'm talking about. And it was quite graphic, and a lot of people were saying, I don't think we really needed to see that. That wasn't something that we needed to see. It was kind of disrespectful. Then when he came out, made his return in front of the live audience with Jim Ross and Michael Cole, CM Punk came out with Paul Heyman, and basically they just did this whole thing where Paul Heyman faked having a heart attack inside the ring, making fun of him. Mick Foley came out later on to kind of defend him, and a lot of people were quite angry about that angle, Joe. And I think that there is some legitimacy in their anger, because here was a very serious situation. And I know that sometimes when you try to bring real life events into the wrestling world, it makes sense in some ways. But I think a lot of people, based on what I read, were really offended and quite upset about the way they did this, and by bringing it in there and having even Paul Heyman fake the heart attack inside the ring. I'm kind of on either side of the fence here. I can see the frustration and the anger in the wrestling fans who thought it went too far, getting cheap heel heat, and they were quite upset about it. Which, again, I can totally understand, but in the same sense of the word, it is wrestling, and it is an angle in a situation where they're trying to further the whole CM Punk storyline by getting him over as the killer heel that he is right now. There's nobody bigger right now than CM Punk as a heel inside the wrestling ring. And, Joe, if you can use a different graphic than that one. Yeah, Kevin Von Erich. That one's awesome with Zema Ion. I like that one. But, Kevin, there's some better ones of when he was younger and whatnot. But, going back to what I was saying there, it's just amazing that you bring that into the real life events, and I guess a lot of people were quite upset about it. And I got to say, I wasn't the happiest by seeing them make fun of the situation, which was a very much real life event. But then again, like I said, to get him over bigger and better and everything else, it did prove the purpose, and it served it quite well. So I don't know where to go on this one. If you guys have some comments or whatever else, we got the message board up here on. If you'd like to talk about it, if you'd like to send us an email, which is easy to send us to, Brian at kqcklive.com. That's BRIAN at kqcklive.com. We'd love to hear your comments about it. If you also want to go to our Facebook page, it's Off the Top Rope. You can find us there. You can get on there, like the page, and put your comments up there as well. We like to hear them and read them and comment on them. If you send us something in terms of an email or something on the Facebook page, I'm going to send you out something. I've got autographs here from wrestlers. I've got memorabilia. You just send me an address, which will remain totally private with me, and I'd be happy to send you something out. So visit us out there. Do it. Make it happen. We'd love you to also like the station here, KQCK Radio, on Facebook as well. Just go up there and like the page. Over 44,000 likes, I believe.
Yes, it's KQCK Live.
KQCK Live. That's right. I'm sorry. KQCK Live.
Radio on YouTube.
On YouTube. That's correct. I'm confusing the two. But you can find it. Just punch in KQCK. You'll find it. Join it. Off the Top Rope. Join it. Let us know what you think about that. We're waiting for Zema Ion to give us a call here on the telephones. And I really do look forward to speaking with both of our guests today. Zema Ion from TNA Wrestling and, of course, Kevin Von Erich from World Class Championship Wrestling. But just going back briefly to the whole CM Punk thing, yes, it does obviously further him as a killer heel in this business. That's exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to bring him to a status that you just really want the crowd to pop as soon as his music plays. When you hear that by the Cult of Personality by Living Color, as soon as that kicks in, they want to boo him. And you saw on Monday Night Raw, when he came out during the Jerry Lawler segment inside the ring, the fans hated it. They hated him coming out. They hated the whole thing legitimate when he was up there talking about, they talked about you being unconscious for 18 minutes and dead for 18 minutes, but the only number that counts is 358, which is the number of days I've been heavyweight champion, which you got to give CM Punk some credit. The guy definitely knows how to talk on the stick. He's very good at what he does in that sense, and he's also someone who can really go out there and make you hate him. He's had a great success in the independent circuits before he became where he is today, and obviously we should be able to see him hold that belt, I think, at least past Survivor Series. I'm guessing maybe somewhere down the road at the Royal Rumble or whatever. He may go ahead and make that happen as well. Zema hasn't called in yet, huh?
Not yet.
Okay, should be calling in any second now. But anyway, and you're looking at it here. He is now the 9th longest reigning heavyweight champion in the WWE. We did see him surpass Big Daddy Cool Diesel, as he talked about, which was kind of funny when he actually said that on the telecast. He said, hey, I bypassed Big Daddy Cool Diesel. And I remember when Big Daddy Cool Diesel did win that from Bob Backlund back in the day, 94 I think it was. And it kind of made me laugh when he said that. But again, they're going after this. They're trying to make Ryback, John Cena, and him Survivor Series as a huge killer three-way match, and I believe that it should be one of the better matches probably on the pay-per-view. And I think by inserting another man inside the ring with Ryback is only going to maybe make Ryback even stronger in a sense of the word, that I think a lot of people are still having a hard time taking Ryback seriously, so to speak, because they're still comparing him to Goldberg and saying he's a one-dimensional type of wrestler. He can only do certain things inside the ring. And that may be, but in the same sense, I see a lot of people really getting behind Ryback and really enjoying him coming out and doing the feed me more and the big, killer, the big killer type of gimmick, and he's doing it quite well. He's making people obviously pay attention and see what's happening, and I think that if you look at what he's about, he's in there to be this one type of guy. I mean, he's not going to become a technical wrestler like all the greats in the past, like Tully Blanchard or Arn Anderson, for instance, or even someone like Dolph Ziggler. They're not looking at to make Ryback that type of wrestler. He's made as one type of guy. He's a big, strong dude. He was brought up in the circuit with Al Snow and whatnot, and even Bill DeMott and everything, and pretty much ate everything in sight, if I remember Al Snow telling me correctly. And the guy is definitely somebody that is going to be a star here in WWE for the next few years. I really believe that. Right now, he is one of the top 3 guys. He's in the main event for Survivor Series. He was in the main event just last month against CM Punk, and I think that eventually down the road you're going to see some more matches and some more things with him, and it's going to be definitely something to look forward to. So we're still waiting word to hear from. Actually, hold on one second. I got an email here. Hold on. Having some phone issues.
Oh, no.
I'll be calling on the phone at 4. Let's see. Hold on a second. We got a little note here from
4 o'clock.
Hold on one second here. Yeah, no. Having some phone issues. Calling soon. That's what the email says from my good friend out there, Lindsay. So at least she sent me the email. That's great. I'm going to say, okay, it's good to hear from you. I'm glad that we're going to be able to get him on the phone here. Phone issues on their end, of course. So that's at least a good idea there. But let's go ahead and do something, Joe. Let's go ahead and play a song or something like that, whatever we can do here, until we can get Zima Ion on the phone here live on Off the Top Rope Radio, heard exclusively on KQCKLive.com. And while you're at it, check out our website, too, after our show, of course, and see all the fantastic, fine, well-tuned programs that are on KQCK radio station, heard here in Santan Valley, Arizona. A beautiful day, by the way, 81 degrees outside. A nice cool wind from the north at about 5 miles per hour. That's been your weather report from Off the Top Rope Radio. We're coming right back in a few minutes with Zima Ion from TNA Wrestling. Don't go away.
Our family pets are such a big part of our lives. That's why Kelly's Critter Clips of Queen Creek and Sun Lakes has been providing pet grooming services for over 10 years. Your dog's comfort is very important to us, so we take the time to treat your pet with care, love, and professional attention it deserves. We welcome any size and breed and feature shampoo and conditioning, styling, flea and tick dips, ear cleaning, nail trimming, and so many other services that will leave your pet looking good and smelling good and feeling great, all at an affordable price. Located in Queen Creek and Sun Lakes, call now for an appointment, 480-655-5066. Kelly's Critter Clips. When you visit Hill Family Dentistry in Santan Valley, dentist Dr. Tim Hill provides each patient with personalized, gentle care that you deserve. Our entire team is dedicated to providing you and your family with services that will make you smile. With a full range of general, cosmetic, and specialty dentistry services that will keep you and your family smiling. Our commitment to our community is to provide outstanding oral health. Hill Family Dentistry is located on 36359 Gansell Road in Santan Valley, diagonally across from Banner Ironwood Hospital. Evening and weekend appointments available. We accept most insurances and have in-office policies available for non-insured. Contact us today at 480-588-8127. Hill Family Dentistry.
Are you planning on starting a new business in this economy? As a new business, you know you'll need to watch every single dollar. Before you make any decisions on phone service, call Zentrus Communications at 1-877-ZENTRUS. That's 1-877-936-8727.
Got pain? Call Dr. Wayne. Chiropractic care may be your answer. Queen Creek Back Care. Located in Queen Creek on 20231 East Ocotillo Road on the backside of True Value Hardware Store. Safe, effective treatment with chiropractic and same-day appointments to speed your healing. With more than a decade of experience and hundreds of satisfied patients, Dr. Wayne Christensen will provide you the pain relief you've been searching for. Dr. Wayne is fully qualified to treat the entire family, even children. Call for an appointment today. 480-677-3900. That's 480-677-3900.
Marie here for wannasing.com. Are you looking for professional DJ or karaoke services for your next holiday party or get-together? wannasing.com can provide the best in sound, lighting, and a professional MC to host your next event. Whether it be a company party, birthday party, wedding, or any occasion, wannasing.com is ready to provide the fun and make it a night to remember for years to come. Call 480-664-8801. That's 480-664-8801. Mention this radio ad and receive a special discount for your next fun event. wannasing.com. Are you having plumbing or septic problems? No worries. Call Cartwright's Queen Creek Plumbing and Septic Service. Been in the Valley since 1996. Family owned and operated. Proudly serving East Valley and surrounding areas. With a full range of services from drain cleaning, septic tank pumping, general maintenance and repairs, inspections for the sale of your home. They provide excellent and courteous service for all your plumbing and septic needs. We're not satisfied till you are satisfied. Licensed, bonded, and insured. Call today. Cartwright's Queen Creek Plumbing and Septic Service. Contact Denise at 480-987-8051. That's 480-987-8051.
Somebody comes on, let's get him on. All right, we're back here off the Top Rope Radio on KQCK, heard exclusively live on KQCKlive.com. Welcome back. We're just waiting word from Zima Ion from TNA because he's saying that having a little bit of a phone issue on their end, but they're going to be calling in here hopefully very, very soon. The other thing is that while we were doing the commercials and whatnot, I got a couple emails here, and let's see what this one is here. Betty, good old Betty. How's Betty doing? She didn't say where she was from, but she did say that in regards to the CM Punk situation, I totally agree with those who say it is stupid to be upset about the situation. This is professional wrestling. Jerry Lawler knew or should have known that this would be played into the storyline angle. Well, I agree with that. I think that definitely makes some sense. And if that's the situation, that is all that matters. It shouldn't make a difference what anybody else thinks. Love the show. Hear you every week. Thank you. Okay, well, Betty, you're right. I mean, obviously, they're not going to go out there and make it a surprise that someone's going to come out and do this whole situation with you and everything else. I mean, they definitely knew that this was going to be part of the program, sure. And I agree with what you're writing there on that email. But the only thing is that there are people who are saying that it went a step too far. But based on what you just wrote there is that you're saying that it's not something that should be taken that serious, because if it was already predetermined or whatever else, then, boom, that's the way it goes. So if that's the case and that's how you feel, then that's cool too. I mean, there's a lot of other things. I also got another email here. Let's see if I can pull this up here. Here it is. Jim. Oh, Jim says he's in Tucson. So hello, Jim from Tucson. Jim from Tucson says the following. Actually, quite the opposite. I do believe that what you were saying with the other people is correct. There was no need for this to happen. That this was over the top, not like off the top, but over the top, and there was no room in this there was no room for this in professional wrestling. You have to realize that there's work. What does it say? You have to realize that there is life outside the working professional wrestling world, and therefore you must realize that you also have to take it with a grain of salt. So I guess what he's trying to say there is that, okay, there is life outside. Yes, I totally understand that, and we have to kind of move on from there. So those are good arguments. So thank you, Jim. Thank you, Betty. I appreciate you telling me that and hearing that. That's good to know, and it's obviously something that is on people's minds because they're definitely taking that in consideration and realizing that that's something that they have to go with. So what's up with that?
Dean from Denver said it was unnecessary and it shouldn't have happened.
Dave from Denver just called it?
Dean from Denver.
Dean from Denver just called it and said it's unnecessary and it should have happened?
And it should not have happened. It should not have brought the cameras in the back with the medical stuff.
Cool. Okay, well, Dean from Denver, man.
Quick and simple.
You're right. And you know what? While we're waiting for Zima Ion, if you guys want to call in even with your comments on this situation, because this is a pretty, kind of a heated discussion. Wrestling fans are pretty much aware and used to having situations happen in the professional wrestling world and saying, well, I think it went too far and whatever else. And I totally agree. But then again, like I said, it is wrestling. So Dean from Denver, thank you for calling in like that and saying that it was unnecessary. A lot of people like you are in total agreement with that. So if you want to give us a call while we're waiting for Zima Ion, and don't forget around the 3 o'clock hour here on the Mountain Time Zone, 5 o'clock out there on the Eastern Time Zone, the Eastern Time Zone, we'll be having Kevin Von Erich on the phone. So if you want to give us a call and voice your comments, even just quickly with Joe off the air like Dean did, we'd appreciate that. Let me give the phone number with the area code, 480-745-1033, 480-745-1033. If you want to call and just tell Joe quickly what your comment is about the whole Jerry Lawler situation, how you feel about it, just kind of quickly, and Joe will pass it on. Just give us your name and where you're calling from. We'll be happy to pass it on like Dean from Denver just did.
Right, or if you can jump on the chat. I mean, if you're watching the show, jump on the chat and let us know how you feel. We like to see that going on up there. I don't see anything happening right this minute on the chat.
Well, at least we got people listening. That's the good part. But if you want to call us again, 480-745-1033 while we are waiting for Zima Ion. But this is a good discussion, Joe. I mean, how do you feel about this? Because
honestly,
I know you're not a big wrestling fan, but you do know of the situation, and you saw on Monday Night Raw what they were doing by showing the footage backstage of what happened 2 months ago. How do you feel about that?
If he was my hero and they pronounced him dead, that could be quite upsetting. For that 18 minutes, you could be devastated and really just totally messed up rather than hear the final result that he's okay.
Well, in defense of that, they talked about it after the fact. They didn't say, as of right now, Jerry Lawler's dead.
They didn't.
No. They said, like, after a few days went by, whatever else, that he was declared dead for that amount of time.
Then I have no issue with it. Personally, I think it's more... I think it adds to the whole idea of this live wrestling being so exciting. I mean, let's face it. Mm-hmm. People want to see people flying off the mat, breaking nails, little blood, just not trying to be nice here. But, I mean, why else would people go out there? Mm-hmm. So the people that are saying, oh, it's too much and all that, I don't know. I don't know that I can agree with that, but that's only my personal opinion.
So you don't have a problem with them doing what they did by incorporating that angle?
They didn't give him open heart surgery on the air.
No.
I mean, all they did was they were trying to revive him and stuff, and, maybe people are upset because they thought it was fake, and it turned out to be real. And
True.
Who knows?
Well, what do you think about the whole thing with Paul Heyman, CM Punk's manager inside the ring, acting like he was having a heart attack, and CM Punk was
I think that is completely ridiculous, and he should be flogged publicly for that.
Okay, so you think that is obviously
he doesn't want to get me in the ring after doing that.
Yeah, I
think. Just kidding.
See, and I'm gonna weigh in on this. I'm gonna say that by showing
it was tasteless, my friend.
Yeah,
it was.
But by showing what they showed with him being resuscitated, I don't think that was such a big deal to me. And I do know a lot of people. Like I said, we got people who are emailing us. People like Dean who just called in and said something different. People all over the internet sites are saying that what they showed was wrong by him being resuscitated, by they showing the actual footage. And I thought to myself, well, they're going to film it due to that reason. For that reason, they're going to show something about it by showing it was, in fact, absolutely a real thing. The only problem is that I don't have a problem with them showing that part. And, I know it's wrestling, but I don't think that them doing the whole fake heart attack thing inside the ring with Paul Heyman, I don't think that was needed because, what happened to Jerry was a real-life situation, and I think they could have gotten the good heel heat besides doing that. They already had the heel heat going big time by just CM Punk walking down the ramp into the ring. I mean, that enough right there was enough. And I think that they maybe just did a little bit overboard, in my opinion. I think a lot of people's opinion by showing Paul Heyman doing that as well. So, I know we got a lot of people calling in with comments and everything else, and they're going crazy and
first of all,
everything. And I know we got some comments coming in. Joe was writing them down and whatever else, and I definitely want to hear about these. So once Joe hangs up with our next guest, I want to hear the comments that Joe is getting from you callers, and we appreciate that. Give us a buzz in for the next few minutes, 480-745-1033. Tell us your comments on the whole Jerry Lawler thing. Okay. Did you agree with it? Did you not agree with it? What did you like? What didn't you like? I just really want to, hear about it. So, and we appreciate you calling in. We appreciate you listening to Off the Top Rope. And again, if you want to email us, you can do that. We're doing emails live here like Betty and Jim did. If you want to send us an email, we can do that. Brian, BRIAN, at KQCKlive.com. Joe, what do you got there?
I sneak these in again before the next call here.
Yeah, please.
Let's see. We had Jeff from Cape Cod says, you know what? They're all actors, and I love them, and I love Paul, and it was great.
Okay.
Hey.
Jeff from Cape Cod. Boy, I wish you could send us some lobsters.
Yes, we need some lobsters.
Yeah, okay.
And then Mary F. from Cincinnati said, Paul is an ass. Really bad. I was a fan of his, and not now.
Wow. So Mariette from...
This is raising some heat.
I told you, it's
Raising
serious
some
stuff.
brows.
So Mariette was from where?
Mariette was from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Cincy, baby. Okay, and you said, was it Jeff, the other one? The first guy?
That was Jeff from Cape Cod.
Cape Cod, okay. So
Where's Cape Cod?
Yeah. So he says they're all... Cape Cod's in Massachusetts,
Yeah,
ain't
I thought it was.
Yeah, I think so.
Or was it Vermont? I don't know.
It's over on the East Coast somewhere. And
Somewhere out there.
I hope all those people are doing well and getting better.
Somewhere
I'm still
out
thinking
there.
about this. Somewhere out there, underneath the money. Never mind about that. So Jeff from Cape Cod says they're all actors. Who cares? Whatever else. Was it Mariette? Is that what you said? Mariette? I think that's what you said there.
Mary F.
Mary F? Like in Freddie.
Mary F.
Mary
as
F.
in
Okay.
Fart.
Mary. Now that wasn't very nice. My goodness.
Well, I wasn't calling her a fart.
Well, you didn't like the pig comment when I was comparing, I mean, come on here.
Mary F. is in fresh.
Let's just call her Mary.
As in fresh.
Yeah, Mary Fresh. Mary
in fabulous.
Mary Fantastic. That'd be a great wrestling name, wouldn't it?
It would.
Coming down the ring, Mary Fantastic. Kind of like very...
I'm trying to keep off the phones here, so what's his name? What's his name? That's terrible. So he has all the lines to call in on,
Well, you know what?
Flip.
I got news for you.
I'm getting scared.
If he doesn't call in, we're going to go to Kevin in about 5 minutes.
on?
So Jeff from Cape Cod says they're all actors. Again, that's a very good argument, and a lot of people are agreeing with that. And Mary is saying, well, Paul's an ass. And Paul Heyman, by doing that, has no respect for him. Mary, first of all, thank you for calling in. Jeff, thank you for calling in. The thing you have to realize about Paul, he's doing his job. And that's the part that, I have to look at and say, Paul didn't come out there and say, I'm going to do this route thing. He's doing his job. He's playing a role inside the wrestling ring. It's no secret anymore in terms of what these people are and what they do and everything else. So, I mean, I wouldn't get too mad at Paul, because if he doesn't do it in terms of what was written for him, then obviously he may not have a job. And that's kind of the way you have to look at it. I'm sure that's the way even Paul looks at it. Okay. Paul Heyman, I mean, he's been inside many rings, and he's done a lot of things. Former owner of ECW, Extreme Championship Wrestling, and, they've done some pretty risque angles over the years as well in ECW. And Paul Heyman is no stranger to controversy. He's been involved in some really weird stuff. We got more calls coming in here. These people are crazy. I love it. I love you guys. Who was that?
That was...
Who was that?
Boris, I forget in 1 second. Boris Little.
Boris Little.
I'm thinking, he said Boris, and I'm thinking, hey, it's Boris.
Boris Zukov, yeah.
Boris Little from Tampa, Florida says Paul's a jackass. Mm-hmm. He should have had more sense and compassion for his friend.
There you go. See? And that's where the line is really kind of thin here, because people are saying, well, Paul Heyman and Jerry Lawler are obviously friends inside the business, and all those guys are. I mean, even CM Punk and Jerry Lawler, I know that they're fine with each other, but again, that's where the storyline, that's where the job comes in. So these are good arguments. Boris, thank you. Jeff, thank you. Mary, I appreciate...
Mary F.
Mary F.
Not forget about the F.
Mary Fantastic.
She made it important to say the F.
Yeah. Okay, I like that.
I don't want to forget the F.
Let's do this. Obviously, Zima's still having some issues. I got another email saying they're having some phone
Kevin Von Erich.
Yeah, here's what we're going to do, though. Let's take a quick break. Just a quick break, if you can. Let's get some more of our wonderful sponsors out there listening, and we'll play a quick break. In about 2 or 3 minutes, we'll come back. We'll get Kevin Von Erich on the phone with Off the Top Rope Radio.
Don't go anywhere, guys.
Are you experiencing computer problems? Is your computer running slow? Bogged down with viruses and spyware? You need a reliable and knowledgeable, trustworthy computer service company. Contact Computers, Networks, and More, located in Santan Valley. Get your computer or laptop running in top condition by a certified technician with 20-plus years experience and beta tester from Microsoft. Computers, Networks, and More provides repairs and solutions to any computer-related issue, whether it's software, installation, troubleshooting, updates, or tune-ups. You can trust Computers, Networks, and More. Contact Jeff Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. to schedule an appointment. We can have you up and running quickly, usually within 48 hours. Located in Santan Valley. Computers, Networks, and More. We're here for you. Contact Jeff at 480-729-8899. That's 480-729-8899.
More music 24 hours a day.
Santan Motorsports, located in Queen Creek, specializes in off-road ATVs, dirt bikes, UTVs, side-by-sides, street bikes, and provides performance work. Santan Motorsports is your local dealership for off-road parts and accessories. They provide and pride themselves on excellent customer service and a staff that understands all aspects of the off-road business. Come in and browse our dealership and find those parts and accessories you've been looking for. Check our website, santanmotorsports.com, for monthly specials as well as used equipment. Santan Motorsports, your one-stop shop for sales, service, and knowledgeable staff. Located in Queen Creek on Power Road and Santan Boulevard, or call 480-988-0580. Santan Motorsports, we're here for you.
All right, we're back here off the Top Rope Radio, the top of the hour here. It's 3 o'clock on the Mountain Time Zone, 5 o'clock out there on the Eastern Time Zone, 4 o'clock Pacific, 1 o'clock if you're in the, it would be 2 o'clock. Yeah, 2 o'clock on the Eastern, let me try this again. 2 o'clock on the Pacific Time Zone, 3 o'clock here Mountain, 4 o'clock Central, 5 o'clock Eastern Time. So we're going to be hopefully getting Zima I on here later on, but right now we're going to be talking very soon to Mr. Kevin Von Erich, the legend himself, from World Class Championship Wrestling. I can't wait to talk to him, get him on the phone, and just really enjoy the world of wrestling from his point of view and everything else. So, but I want to just first of all say thanks to everybody.
Another recap though of last week.
No, just make sure that's
it's busy, and now I'm getting his machine.
Okay, that's okay. We'll get him. He may even try to call you back. Because he's a good guy. In terms of what we were talking about before, it was a hot topic. Jerry Lawler coming back to Raw this Monday night. We've had a lot of calls. Jeff and Mary, and we had Jim and Betty on the email there. We had Dean from Denver. We also had Boris calling us in from Tampa. Just so many things right now.
I already missed 5 calls while I'm making these calls.
Is that right?
Right.
Well, we apologize if we're missing any of your phone calls right now. But we are trying to get Kevin Von Erich on the telephone, and we are looking forward to speaking with him. We were supposed to have him on last week, and we had some issues with our video server and everything else going down. But Kevin and I have talked a few times here in the past couple of weeks. And he is a hell of a guy and just obviously a legend in this business. There's no doubt about it. When you talk about big names, you definitely got to put Kevin Von Erich in that class and everything else. So without further ado, let's welcome a good friend of mine here for the first time on Off the Top Rope Radio, and hopefully not the last. He is, of course, the World Class Championship Wrestling superstar, legend, whatever you want to call him. He's a great guy and a great wrestler. Can't wait to have him on the phone, Mr. Kevin Von Erich. Kevin, how you doing, buddy?
Pretty good. How you guys doing?
We're doing awesome, man. I know you're enjoying that weather out there in Hawaii, and we're having a great time out here in the Phoenix area. Loving life, my friend, just like you.
Oh, I know it's hot in Phoenix. The boys are cutting the grass, and so they may come out every now and then. I hope you can hear me all right.
I can hear you just fine, man. The landline sounds awesome. I'm glad that we finally got a chance to connect. We apologize for last week with the video server crashing, but obviously sometimes things happen in the radio world. But it's a pleasure and honor to have Mr. Kevin Von Erich right here from World Class Championship Wrestling, from the legendary and fantastic Von Erich family. How you doing today? Are you just really having a good day today? Because you sound like you're in great spirits.
Are you talking to me?
Of course I am.
I sound like somebody walked in. Yeah, no, I'm just as happy as I could be. I love Texas, and I still consider myself a Texan. But, I used to love to go down to the Gulf and spearfish, and I would do that pretty often. And got to where I just, dang it, there's no ocean where I lived. And I would come in more and more, and I just got tired of being envious of the people that lived here. And so that's what I do now. I trade, and I grow fruits, and I have chickens and goats, and I trade with my neighbors. We have fish. I fish too, so I bring so I'm the guy to see for fruit and fish.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Did you ever think that in a time in your life back in the day that you'd ever be doing that in 2012?
You know what, Ryan, to tell the truth, my plan my whole life was to live in a house by a river. I wanted a rock house by a river and be all alone out in the country. And I'm as close to that as I think I'll ever get. And so really, I've always wanted to be a farmer too and grow things. And yeah, I'm not as happy as a man could be. I've got family that love me, and I love them. I've got grandchildren, so yeah, man, things couldn't be better.
That's awesome. And in case you're just tuning in here to KQCK Live off the Top Rope Radio here with Brian Schenk, we are speaking, of course, the legendary Kevin Von Erich, and it's a real thrill to have you, man. I've been a longtime fan of yours. I love World Class Championship Wrestling. I've got stuff on VHS tapes from yesteryear. I still love watching them. I remember the old ESPN would have the World Class shows and whatnot, so it is obviously a pleasure having you on. And Kevin, I got to say, a lot of people have been very excited to hear from you because you're kind of somebody who isn't really all that vocal or active with interviews and or being in the news and whatnot. I think you enjoy that, and I also think that you still love the fans and still love what you've done. You told me at the Colorado Alley Club in Las Vegas earlier this year that you had a 22-year summertime job as a professional wrestler, and you actually wanted to play football in your career, and you were like the only one who didn't really want to go into wrestling as much as the other guys did, and I found that quite interesting.
Yeah, that's true. That's my brothers, of course, really wanted to wrestle, but I wanted to play football. I loved it and thought that was going to be my calling, and then with
Are you still there?
it's just been hurt. Starting from the very first match, I was trained by a lot of guys, but I had my first match with Paul Pershman, who at the time was Paul Pershman. His name now is Buddy Rose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's got a wrestling school, I think, with Larry Sharp, and I'm not real sure, but I believe he does. One of those honest wrestling schools, I think it's there already. But a great guy, and I had to wear knee braces on my knees because I just had surgery.
Wow.
And so I had a lot of fun wrestling and all that, but I never did it without bad knees. I always had my knees kind of hurt all the time, and I kind of wish I hadn't have kept going at football. I hurt my knees 5 times before I, gave up football. That's how much I wanted to do it, and I always wondered how wrestling would have been if I hadn't hurt my knees.
Well, yeah, I know, of course, you being a lifelong athlete, from a young age, like your sons, too. I mean, you talked about them with me as well, and what had happened with, them playing football as well and body. I think you said Marshall, your son, is bench pressing over 400 pounds, and Ross is a big star in football. I mean, that's incredible, 400 pounds.
Yeah, I was trying to remember, 225 is 2 plates, 3 plates is 315, and 4 plates is 405, right? And that's... Was it 415?
I don't know. I couldn't lift one.
Yeah, Marshall benched the 4 plates, and I saw that he works out with that, and that's just a really good bench for a 19-year-old kid. He's about almost 6'5", about 245, 250, and then Ross is kind of Marshall did all that at wide receiver.
Wow.
And wide receiver, he jumps like a deer. And Ross is the same way. Ross was a tailback though in Denton, Texas, and you know how the NFL just is. A lot of players come from Denton, and Ross is at the big 5A school there at Denton, Ryan State champs. 5 years.
Sure.
And he was their starting tailback and was just a really good running back. But one night they were playing a team called Arlington Bowie, and they were always in the playoffs. And Ross scored 2 touchdowns in the first quarter and was right at about to score 3 times in one quarter and hyperextended his knee right on the goal line. Oh. And, man, I ran on the field because I've, been there.
Sure.
And wanted to hear, if it popped or how loud or kind of how he'd heard it. And I just decided then, don't risk it, don't make the same mistake I did. And so we came on now. They didn't wind up losing the game to Arlington Bowie, and of course they had a 3 touchdown lead, but they lost the game. But I think we made the right call to not keep going after football like I did, and I just kept coming back and getting more and more hurt. And in wrestling, you can go to your belly and kind of shoot your knees behind you.
Yeah.
And so I could keep my knees out of the way, but football was just so knee oriented. It would have been a matter of time.
Yeah, I think that was a good move by what happened there. I mean, obviously without knees, it's extremely hard to walk, and a world of professional wrestling like you did for all those years, plus being the football athlete you are. And the other thing is too, you're talking about your sons, and I can always tell how proud you are when you talk about them and your whole family. I mean, this is a man, ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Von Erich, who's been married to the same lady, Pam, since 1979, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Actually, it was 78 because many people know this, but we eloped, out to Lake Ouachita. And when we were kids, I paid $9 for a marriage license, and we were married. And so we came home, and my parents were really pissed off. And so we married again out in the yard and did it right with pictures and guests and all that. So we got married twice.
I'd love to see some of your wedding photos. You got any of those that you'd ever put up online or anything like that? I'd love to see them.
Oh, yeah, Pam has them. I don't know.
Well,
we don't mess with I don't mess with the computer, but I'll get Kristen or one of them to put some of those wedding photos online. But they're kind of funny, too. A friend of mine suggested we take one of Dave's horses, and I come along and sweep her off her feet, and ride off into the sunset. And that horse bucked me off and went out in the field and bucked them both off. It was funny.
Man, I could see that happening, too. That's so hilarious. I mean, wow. And it's funny, too, Kevin, because when I talk to you, you talk so fondly of your brothers, too, and obviously as wrestling fans and everything, we know the tragedies and the loss with your family. And, I look at, like I said, old tapes and everything, and I really smile when I see Kerry and Kevin and Mike. And I know Chris was starting to have a career, before what happened with him and everything. And the Von Erich family is a real special group, in my opinion. I know a lot of people in wrestling will agree with that. In the interview that we had at CAC, you also said something very, very touching, and it also made a lot of sense. You said, we were doing something that was a quicker pace in world class. It was a more of an aggressive style. And the one thing that you said that really made it all great to me was you said, plus, Brian, we were having fun. And, boy, I tell you what, to say something like that and mean that in the world of wrestling, that you're having fun with your brothers, with your father, with your mother even, of course, and everything with all your friends. I know you were very close with Chris Adams, gentleman Chris Adams, and Brian Adias was a childhood friend of yours. Just the memories you must have alone just must be tremendous, and I'm sure probably each day there's something that comes into your head or that you think of when you hear something or see something. It just must be a wonderful memory bank for Mr. Kevin Von Erich.
Well, yeah, I had a great time, and I loved being with my brothers. We just had the most fun, especially here in Kauai. We'd come out here, and I'm glad to move out here because I have so many good memories with my brothers. Not Dave, but Kerry and Mike. We came out here quite a bit. And Dave was out here once or twice with me, but see, I've been looking at the same land out here for about, 20 years, but just bought it about 7 years ago.
Wow.
So, this holds a lot of memories, all right.
That's awesome.
This is the most dangerous of all the islands. We have we get that full northern swell, so the strong currents and all that. But if you're in shape and if you enjoy that kind of thing, that's just the most fun place in the world.
That's awesome. You also sent me some really cool pictures here I have on my cell phone. I'm looking at them right now, and it was kind of funny. Yeah, you sent me one. You sent me about 3 or 4 of them, and I really enjoyed looking at them. And the one that you sent me, you were on a boat, and you had your feet up on the top of the boat, and you said on the thing, you says, "Don't worry, don't look at the feet, look at the picture." And I wrote back to you, I said, "I've seen those bare feet inside of a world-class championship wrestling ring for 22 years. I've seen those feet before." And that's how I knew it was you in that picture, my friend.
That was just the other day, too. We were at the Nepali coast. Usually, this being, I live on the North Shore, and so November is kind of winter, I think that was about November 3rd or 4th. And so we were really lucky to get a calm day because otherwise you can't get out to the Nepali coast in the wintertime.
I'm looking at them right now on my phone. I mean, it's just amazing how beautiful something like that can be. And I'm not talking about your feet. I'm talking about, of course, the beautiful background. But, your feet still look good after all these years. But
I just love it. Let's go down underwater and to watch the fish wake up in the morning. I mean, to go from dark to actually be under there when the sun rises is just great. Awesome. And you can get lobsters, with all the, except for, June, July, August. May, June, July, and August. It's Capu, we can't get lobsters because they're breeding, you know. But all other than that, I can go out there anytime I want and just grab enough lobsters for dinner.
Damn, you're making me really jealous because
at night, but it's still great.
Lobster is one of my favorite things on the face of the earth. It kind of goes like
Right
beer.
there.
It kind of goes beer, World Class Championship Wrestling, and then lobster.
Sure.
Yeah.
Burn it.
Are you still there, Kevin? I hope we didn't lose him there. I think we might have lost him on his line there, Joe. I don't hear him. Kevin? Oh, that might be him calling over there. I don't know, but let's. You know what? Let's. We just lost Kevin, but I think with Hawaii, there's some problems there sometimes with the phones. If you can see who that is, that might be him. If not, let's just call him back, obviously, and go from there. So we're gonna have Kevin back on the phone here. We'll get him back on the phone. Hopefully that's him. I don't know. Is it not him? Okay. Let's go ahead and call him back. You got the number right there, I guess. I think anyway. So. Oh, sorry, we missed him here. We'll call him back. You know what? It's Hawaii, man. That's how it is out there. I mean, sometimes the phone lines are kind of goofy and whatnot. So let's give him a call back.
I didn't ask who it was, but somebody said, "Could you please get him back on? I'm really enjoying this."
Yeah, I know. I am too. I love talking to Kevin. He's awesome. We'll get him back on the phone. Let's call him back at that number here, and let's just pop him right back on there. I mean, that would be a good thing to have him back on. So we are talking about, of course, with Kevin Von Erich. We lost him. We'll get him back on the line. It's okay. It's live radio. Is that him right there?
Let's do it live, the real way.
All right, Kevin.
Yes. How did that happen?
I don't know. You were sitting there. We were talking about lobsters and some of my favorite things, and then we just lost you.
I think Brian ate the phone.
I don't.
When he was thinking about the lobster.
I was thinking about the lobsters. So, but no, we were talking about how you can catch all the lobsters you want. And I said that's 3 of my favorite things is beer, World Class Championship Wrestling, and lobsters. So I'm glad you brought that up.
That sounds good. All right. That's what I said. That's when I found out we were disconnected. We were talking about lobster, and so
Yeah.
I thought, what the heck? But we live up here in the mountains, and we're really tucked away and pretty private. And I do lose the signal a lot. And then also right over the mountain range, there's Barking Sands, where it's got all the top high-tech missiles, and I think they jam the airwaves sometimes. I'm just guessing because they do all these war games out at the ocean and see them all the time, and they shoot down missiles and all that high-tech stuff, and so I'm sure that's why I lose the signal so much.
Oh, that's okay. I just looked at my program director Joe here, and our eyes went big. I'm like, get him back on the phone. And it was funny because after we lost you, we got a phone call right away from a lady who said, "Can you please get him back on the phone? I'm enjoying this interview so much."
I have to say, since we're the official radio station for the Pac West, we have 2 universities in Hawaii, Chaminade University of Hawaii, and we're on with them almost every week. So I understand how the Hawaii thing drops off once in a while. No problem. We're happy to have you, Kevin.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, sure does. That's a part of it.
It's all good, man, being that distance away. But I know you're in paradise. Now, Kevin, I just got so many things I want to ask you here, and I just love hearing about everything you got to talk about because I could talk to you for an hour. And I know we've talked off the air quite a lot here. But, going back, and I did a little research on, I looked up some of your championship reigns. I mean, we can sit here and talk about them all day. I mean, 5-time NWA American champion, 4-time American tag champion, 7-time World 6-man tag team champion with your brothers at different times, the All Japan Pro Wrestling All Asia tag champion with David. But I'll tell you one that I really liked, and I had to go back and try to find some footage on this, and I'm still looking. Bruiser Brody on Christmas Day, 1978, when you became the NWA American champion. What do you remember from that match?
Bruiser Brody was a great wrestler. He was, and I learned so much wrestling against him, and he taught me a lot too, and just one of the best in the world, and cut down such a problem of his life, really.
Yeah.
But Brody had a short temper, a really short temper, and Puerto Rico, there are all sorts of versions to the story, and it's not a pretty outcome any way you look at it. It's an ugly story, but it's over, and I don't have any hard feelings to anyone. It's just no reason to. It's I know what I know, and I don't know all the details, and I probably want to keep it that way. I know that Frank would go ahead and or Brody would. He would hammer somebody if he thought they had it coming, and and I'm not saying he brought it on himself at all. I don't mean to say that at all. I'm just saying that he, dang it, they owed him a lot of money, and he was he wanted it that night, and I don't know what happened, but anyway, Frank was just almost like a brother to me,
Wow.
Really liked him.
Yeah, I was going to ask you your comments on him after that because I wasn't sure exactly how close you were to him, but yeah, a great talent. I mean, him and Stan Hansen.
Are you ready to start taking control of your future
hold on a second.
and maximize your earning
I think
potential?
Joe pressed the button.
Central Arizona College has smaller class sizes.
Hold on one second. Sorry about that, Kevin. Okay.
What the hell? Wow.
I don't know. I think there must be a full moon
That's
tonight.
that's what you call really getting your sponsors in there, huh?
I tell you, yeah. You should probably wait till after we're done talking to Kevin Von Erich.
Sorry about that.
Did you have Kevin? Before we go any further, we had a phone call about you. We're taking
And
calls.
it's funny because I thought I had the ringer off, but we got one that snuck in here, and it was a good one. It says they said it was John, Barb, and Taylor. Please tell Kevin, John, Barb, and Taylor from the Bahamas absolutely love him forever.
There you go.
That's great. I'm glad I took that call.
We did a lot of little tours out in the Caribbean, and now the Bahamas are on the other side of Puerto Rico, aren't they? So didn't go over there. I don't remember being in the Bahamas, but I have been in the Caribbean quite a bit, and I sure love it out there. It's beautiful. They have better music than we do, that's for sure.
I think a lot of people who have been in the Bahamas probably don't remember being there either. I know a lot of people just party their butt off out there, but yeah. You see, you got a lot of fans, Kevin. I'm telling you.
Yeah, it's beautiful out there.
And speaking to that gentleman that just called in, from that area, we got people today who called in before we got you on the air from Tampa, Cape Cod, Cincinnati, Tampa Bay, and what was the other city here? There was one more. I think it was, where was it, Joe? There was another city.
Tampa, Florida.
Yeah, Cape Cod, Massachusetts, of course, Cincinnati, Tampa,
on
Florida.
the East Coast, huh?
Yeah, a lot of people and we had another guy from Tucson who emailed me, and they're big Kevin Von Erich fans, and we get a lot of people trying to call in, to just get a question in when they can, but you just have a lot of fans out there who still love you today. We were talking about your title reigns and everything else and going through your career here. There's one match, Kevin, that I love to death, and I just really want to talk about this one because I watched it the other day in its entirety. This match to me had everything. It had psychology. It had a storyline. It had great workmanship. It had a face and a heel, which was a true face being you and a true heel being Ric Flair. Parade of Champions 2, your match with Ric Flair in Texas Stadium, and that match was great. Ended in a double countout. The thing I loved about it was Flair played the classic heel. Out of the ring, getting booed. Inside the ring, you whooped him, he got out of the ring. Double countout happened with you two outside the ring. You would not release the claw hold on him inside the ring after the match was over. Kerry came out, Mike came out, tried to get you off. You wouldn't let go.
I remember that, yeah.
Fritz came out, Papa Fritz came out, and he stopped you. You looked at him. You pulled it off. And you know what I loved about that match, Kevin? It was very realistic. You had your brothers coming out telling you to stop, but then when Fritz came out and did that, you respected. I mean, everything just worked in that match so brilliantly that I just think that's one of the greatest matches I ever saw. From beginning to end, not just the match, but the storyline, the psychology, everything about it was tremendous.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to hear that. I appreciate it. Ric Flair was always gave 100% in the ring, and he was, he was a great wrestler. And so after say Flair was really something else, and so I appreciate that.
Oh, not a problem. That's one of the great, and that match is out there on YouTube. If you guys get a chance to check it out, just find it and watch it from beginning to end. It was classic. The other thing is that you mentioned too in various interviews and whatnot. You went on record by saying that gentleman Chris Adams was one of the toughest guys you ever faced inside the ring, legitimately the toughest guy, and that you guys were obviously great friends in the ring and outside the ring and everything else. What are your memories of Chris Adams? Because I met him back in '96, a truly wonderful man.
Well, yeah, as you can imagine, you lose your temper a lot in the ring, not completely, but I mean, you do. You just how it is, and so that would happen pretty often with Chris and me. It was like, I was used to wrestling guys that were a lot bigger than I was, and Chris was pretty much my size. So,
yes.
And so we would really just go at each other, and I was a little bigger than Chris, I guess. But anyway, he was. One night we were just really just fighting in the ring, and he flipped his body, and I just hit that mat, and flipped me jiu-jitsu, I guess they call it judo,
right?
Jiu-jitsu, and he was just really good with that, and it would just, it made me a better wrestler because to learn to counter that stuff, but learn any respect for that art too. It's like I never knew much about it. I guess I'd used it my whole life, but didn't know the names of all that stuff. And a wrestler can do that. I mean, we just, it's just kind of instinctive to us to pick that up.
Awesome. We're talking to the great Kevin Von Erich right here from the Von Erich family, World Class Championship Wrestling, one of the greatest promotions ever. And I'm not just saying that. I really do mean that. I love World Class. I mean, storylines were fantastic. The wrestling was great. The camaraderie between everybody. And you know what, Kevin, while we're talking and everything, our phone lines are legitimately, I'm not kidding you, I wouldn't BS you, they're ringing off the hook with people calling in. And Joe, my producer, has some of those comments. I'd like for you to read it, please.
And right this second, guys, if you're calling in, you're going to go to a message because I got to read these. I just can't take all those calls right now. But
please do.
We're going to take as many as we can. Ronnie from Plano, Illinois. Would like to purchase an autographed photo. He says, I am a huge fan, possibly your number one fan.
Wow, very cool.
And he just wants to know if that's even possible.
Ronnie or Robbie?
Ronnie.
Ronnie, well, I hope you're listening, Ronnie. I guess people are writing in that are listening, so I was sure to appreciate it, buddy. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed doing it, and I, I don't, have any place that sells pictures out there, but sure, if you'll send something, I'll be glad to sign it for you and send it back. No charge. Just send it out here to me.
Here's what we're going to do, Kevin. I told you off the air last week that I've got some really awesome classic photos of you. I told you I was going to make up some copies for you because I know you said you don't have any. So what I'm going to do, and I told you that, and I'm still going to do that. I got the day off tomorrow of work. I'm going to actually sit down, get them made. I'll mail them out to you. You gave me your personal address, which, again, I would never share with anybody. So don't try to call me and email me, people, all the fans out there. You're not getting the address. It doesn't work that way. Kevin trusted me with it. And what I'll do is, because Ronnie is such a good fan, if I can include, you're going to send me a couple of those back signed for the radio station wall. So what I'll do is for Ronnie, because he called in like that and asked that, I'm going to ask you if you wouldn't mind signing one and throwing it in my batch, and I'll make sure Ronnie gets that for him.
I'll be glad to do that. Let me just say this, though. You guys, please don't send me those dolls, those wrestling action figures. I mean, not doll, action figure. Because, they're so bulky, and we're a really small island, and I go down to that post office, and they just hate to send out all of it. So it's just really a pain. So please don't send those toys. But other than that, I'll be glad to sign pictures.
Very cool, very cool.
And let me move on to one more.
Let's
really
go to
quick
more. And before you go on to the next comment, Joe, about Kevin, Kevin, I want to ask you. A lot of people are calling in, and they may want to come on the air and maybe talk to you and ask you the question personally. Would you have any problem with that, or do you not want to?
I'd rather not do that. People get a little long-winded, and since we don't have a lot of time today.
Okay, well, that's fine.
I'm sorry, Brian. I don't mean
to
say
that's
that.
Fine. But what I want to say is if you still want to call and give messages to Joe, please do so, because we'd like to for the next 10 minutes or so.
Absolutely.
We'd love to have these, because I know I love hearing these too. So please, Joe, with the next comment.
And I'll turn the phones on right after I'm done with this comment.
Sure.
Beth Ann out of Florida said, you will always be in my heart, Kevin. You are the best. You've always been the best, and you still are the best. And great show. Love you too, Brian.
Great. And that's Karen?
That would be Beth Ann out of Sarasota, Florida.
Beth Ann from Sarasota. I know you've wrestled there a few times, Kev.
Oh, sure, I have. I've been all over that area. And look, you guys, I didn't know you had this kind of coverage, and so we'll do it again. Let's just do it again sometime. I'm a farmer and a spear fisherman, and I'm, watching my sons, and we train a lot, and so, but outside of that, I'll be glad to do these kind of things. So just call me up, and we'll do it again sometime.
Well, I consider you a good friend, and I'll tell you what, we've gotten to know each other over the last few months, and we will have you on again down the road, and what we'll just do is just have a Kevin Von Erich Q&A thing, so if they want to call in, we'll make it all about the fans. You know what I'm saying? That would be a wonderful thing. Good. Yeah. Now, Kevin, I know you got to go. I know you got a lot of things to happen here, and you got some family things to attend to, but I just want to say one thing to you is, obviously, thank you for coming on. It's been an awesome 30 minutes talking to you. Went by so quickly, but I know there's a lot of fans out there. All these calls and these comments we're giving you are totally real, because I'm going to send you a link of the show, and you can see Joe in the background just working like a busy man on the phone taking all this, and his handwriting's terrible on the paper, but I'm glad he's reading it instead of me. But he's getting...
Well, I've got a Twitter account, too, and I talk to people sometimes.
Okay.
A lot of times, really, and so call me up on Twitter, and we'll talk then.
What is the Twitter address they can reach you at?
It's just Kevin Von Erich. I guess I don't, mess with computers really, but I think there's one of those little signals or what checkerboard thing or something like that. I'm not sure what. Yeah, just my name, Kevin Von Erich.
At Kevin Von Erich.
I have to throw this in, Kevin.
Okay.
You got to hear this one. This is the best one I think I've heard in maybe a year.
Go ahead.
Susie Hines from Foster, Rhode Island said, "We have a life-size photo of you and the Hulk in our man cave. We love you more than our own family." So, I just had to get that in from Susie Hines, Foster, Rhode Island. Thank you guys for calling from all over the country, as always. And Kevin Von Erich, the best.
Wow. Life-size photo.
Life-size photo.
You guys have a great day, and I'm sure sorry it didn't work out the other few times, but we'll do it again sometime.
We'll do it again soon, my brother. Listen, again, thank you for coming on. It's always a pleasure talking to you, and I'm going to get those photos out to you by Friday morning, and when you get them, enjoy them, use them for whatever you want to. It's my pleasure to do that for you. And again, thanks for coming on the show, Kev. We'll talk very soon, my friend.
You bet. We'll see you soon.
Okay, Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin.
Bye-bye. There you go. The legendary, the one and only Mr. Kevin Von Erich. And I want to thank all these wonderful people out there who called in today. I mean, I've got some of the names here. Joe, you got some of them. I want to just take a minute.
I want to apologize to all the people that didn't get through.
I know. And that's the thing. You got like 13 lines on that thing?
I've got 33 lines.
33? Okay, well, I had the 3 right. But that's tremendous. And I also thank you for saying good things about our show. We're very happy that you're saying, hey, Joe, Brian, great job at what you guys do.
By the way, almost everybody says love the show.
Right.
Almost every single person that calls. It's almost like an anomaly when they don't.
Well, here's the thing. I've loved professional wrestling for 30 years. Well, about 30 years, okay? And
wow, being 31, that's amazing.
That is. I just last week I was, talking about that. At 1 year old, I was doing pile drivers to the cat. But that's a true story, ladies and gentlemen. But no, the thing is, I love professional wrestling. I love the olden days, like with Kevin there, and I also love, the NWA and Mid-South and Florida Championship Wrestling and World Class. That's my passion. I love that. I don't talk a lot about the current wrestling nowadays. Doesn't mean I don't like it, but there's a real fondness in my heart, a very special place for it. And I'm just really pleased to be able to share it with all these people, because the people that are calling in today, they obviously feel the same way. I mean, let's read some of the names back just to say, hey, you called in. Jeff called in from Cape Cod. Mary F., which I think stands for fantastic.
I think it does.
She called in from Cincinnati today. We had, on the email, we had Bill, and we had, was it Bill? I think Bill and Betty. If it was Jim and Betty, one or the other. I'm sorry if I messed that up. I can't look at it now. Read off some of the names you said.
Susie Hines, Foster, Rhode Island.
Cool.
Life-size photo.
Nice.
Plano or... Illinois.
It's Plano. Yeah.
Ronnie.
Yeah.
Beth Ann, Sarasota, Florida. Freeport, what was it? No, the Bahamas.
Bahamas, that's awesome. That is awesome. You know how cool that is to get a call from the Bahamas?
That is very cool. Tampa, Florida.
Nice.
Man.
Who else we got? You had
I
someone.
can't even read my own writing is the problem.
That's why I was kind of
being serious.
Yeah, I know. That's all right. That's okay.
Cape Cod.
Cape Cod we had, yeah. But you know what? This
Cincinnati.
is great. This is great. Yeah, Cincinnati we had Mary
F.
F. Yep. So thank you for that. I mean, the last hour here just went by so quickly, and we do apologize for not having Zima Ion on the phone. But the thing was that we had 30 great minutes with Kevin Von Erich, and it was a wonderful time to speak with him. And I know that he loves talking about wrestling. He loves talking about everything. He even said to me, hey, let's come back on the air again. And that is awesome, because that means that he did have a good time on the show. And we're going to do it next time. We're going to have people calling in with you be able to call in and talk to him. We'll have you on. You ask your question, make your comment, and then we'll move on to the next person.
Well, sometimes you got to get like Kevin had to get his feet wet with us.
Sure.
Kevin may, he's not familiar with the station, being out in Hawaii.
Sure.
Kevin probably didn't know our reach, and that's understandable.
And one more thing here before we go, I just want to let everybody know that my contact with TNA, Lindsay, I'm just going to call her Lindsay. I'm not going to give all her other stuff on it, but Lindsay said that she was having some problems with the phones on her end. Okay, so she said, when's the latest that he could call? I says, you know what? How about we do it next week? She wrote back and said, I'm so sorry. Yes, that might be the best. I do apologize about this. So, you know what, Lindsay, if you're listening or whatever else, don't apologize. Hey, it happens. We understand.
It's all good.
We'll have Zima on next week, and that way we can talk about, TNA and everything else. We'll have another great legend in the business here. And I just want to say, first of all, thank you to everybody who called in, who participated, who listened. And I know for everybody who calls in, there's probably about another good 1,000 people who are listening. And that means a lot to us. But please do me a favor. If you guys happened to call in today to Joe and to us here, will you please go to our Facebook page if you're on there?
Take the time. Take a second. It means a lot to us.
If you sign on to Facebook, it'll take you 10 seconds to go to our pages. Go to KQCK Live and like that page. Go to my page, Off the Top Rope Radio, or Off the Top Rope. I'm not sure exactly how it is on there.
And
but
Brian will give you each $25.
Wait a second.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry about that.
Wait a second. I didn't say that.
I take that back.
Well, you know what? If that's what it takes, damn it. No, but no, but you know what? Just please like our pages because that gives us an idea of who's listening, where you're from, and whatever else. Write something on our walls. Just say something like, "Hey, I'm from so and so. This is Jeff from
Write
Cape
it on
Cod."
your butt and take a photo and send it to them.
The butt thing. I think
if you're a female and it's a nice butt.
Well, the Facebook. I don't. Well, yeah, you can do the butt.
Right. If it's a nice butt.
Yeah, even if it's not a nice butt.
If it's not a nice butt, Brian will take it and put it in his wallet.
Who am I to judge? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I mean, I've seen a lot of butts out there that I was like, but I've seen a lot that, dude, I was at Talking Stick Resort last night.
I hope I didn't get you off on a tangent here.
No, but I was at Talking Stick Resort last night. My buddy flew in from Louisiana, and boy, are his arms tired. But we went and saw the group Asia. He's a big Asia fan.
Well, you know why you saw the butts then, don't you? It was National Butt Night, dude.
Was it? Well, I call people a butt nut, but I'll tell you what, dude. There was a lot of women walking around that casino with some nice looking jeans.
Can you give me just a really quick clip of one of the great Asia songs, please?
Easy for you to say.
Come on.
It was the heat of the moment.
Love that one.
The other one was Only Time Will Tell. You're leaving now.
That's my favorite by Asia.
Yeah?
That's one of my all-time.
It was until I sang
one of
it.
my all-time favorites. Yeah, I don't like it much anymore.
Hey, how about we close with some Asia? Would that be okay? Can you dig it up there?
I can close with anything you
the
want.
The smile has left your eyes. That's another good song by them. Don't cry now that I found you. Anyway, my buddy won free tickets to go see them. We had a blast. He's a big Asia fan. I like Asia to a certain degree, you know what I mean? I mean, I knew some of their songs. A lot of them I didn't know what the hell they were doing, but yeah, pull up some Asia there. We'll do this in dedication to my buddy Wolfie out there.
What's that one? What's the name
You're
of it?
leaving now. That's Only Time Will Tell. That's a good one, too. That's a really good song.
That's what's happening.
Yeah, cool. But again, we're going to have Kevin back on again. I didn't even get through probably a quarter of my notes I had on this gentleman, because Kevin's cool. I'm going to get some autographed stuff from him to put up on the walls here, and I'll give away some of his prizes, too. So, I didn't want to give away an address on him. I wasn't sure if he was going to, but, I got his personal address and his phone, and, that's something that I do and did because we're friends, and I don't ever want to give that stuff out. I would never give out stuff that doesn't, need to be out there. But
we never do that as a radio station, guys. It just doesn't happen, even if you ask a million times.
It's ethics, you know what I mean? And the thing is, too, is that you can also follow him on @Kevin Von Erich on Twitter. He's
even
a Twitter
if you show us your butt, it ain't going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen. And, I'm going to be
that might even actually hurt you more.
I'm going to be interested to see how many more Twitter followers he has after today.
Yeah, no kidding, huh?
I don't
That's
do
a good
Twitter.
call.
You do Twitter?
I have 77,000 Twitter fans.
Are you
followers.
serious?
I do.
I don't even.
I believe in
mess
Twitter.
with
I
that.
Twitter every day, every show.
I don't do that. I tried it one time and I'm like, this just ain't me.
Well, 77,000 more followers is a nice thing, and Twitter reaches deep, dude. Reaches deep. That's why we get these calls, my friend.
I'm going to reactivate my Twitter account tomorrow and see what I can do. But again, everybody, thank you so much for listening, calling in. It really is an honor, and it really means a lot as a wrestling fan of all those years and as a broadcaster here on KQCK, heard exclusively on KQCKLive.com, to do all this. And go on our Facebook pages, like them, let us know what you're at, where you're from, where you're at, whatever else. And we'll talk to you next week right here on the 21st. But remember, the following week after the 28th, we will not be on due to some other situations at hand. But again, next week, 21st, same time, 2:30 Mountain, 3:30 Central, 4:30 Eastern.